Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DFS Experience for Sunday, June 5th. This is going to be our final showdown video. I got a few things to say. I don't really know where to start, but I do want to start by emphasizing the point that, as basketball fans, unfortunately, we can't go on the TV or we can't go onto the internet and listen to most of these analysts anymore, because they just talk shit. They talk straight garbage for however long, and it's not accurate, and they're literally saying anything just for views. And if you're using these people's you know views or expertise as part of how you build your lineups, as part of your information gathering to how you build lineups and who to play, you're going to be a failure. If you want to listen to like JJ Redick or maybe Kendrick Perkins or maybe Pat Beverly to a certain degree, about what they're seeing out there, that's fine. But if you're listening to Stephen A. Smith or Broussard or any of those idiots that be with Broussard in the morning, Rob Park, these people, they just speak to get you to watch the show. They're not saying anything about basketball, nothing that makes sense. First of all, they wanna what's the word I'm looking for? They wanna minimize Tatum and say that, oh well, he had a bad shooting game, so he's not the star that everybody says he is. I promise you, Michael Jordan had bad shooting nights. There was games Michael Jordan had bad shooting nights and he did not have 13 assists. There was nights Kobe had bad shooting nights. There was nights Kobe shot air balls. Obviously, I knew Tatum was going to be a little bit tight. I already thought that. I already thought he was going to be tight. So seeing how he played, that didn't surprise me. Everyone goes through it. You know what I'm saying? You don't become the greatest of all time at 23, 24, whatever, however old he is. So don't listen to these people saying that he's not a star or whatever they're saying, because he's the best overall player in these finals, and his team somehow found a way to win. Kyrie hit 6 threes in the first quarter, and they still lost by like 12. That says something. You know what I'm saying? Tatum is a top 3 player in the league right now. Jaylen Brown showed you once again why he's not a 2, but he is a 1. Kyrie is the greatest shooter of all time. Did nothing in the fourth quarter when they were getting their asses blown away. And everything that I've been saying is what you're seeing. Kyrie's great. Kyrie's top 3 point guard of all time, greatest shooter of all time. That's not even debatable. When they need him the most, he's never there. Don't even listen to the analysts that say, well, he doesn't have a finals MVP and when he's gonna do this and no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's like 33 years old. He's never done anything in crunch time. It's over. You don't start being a crunch time player at 33 years old in the NBA. Jaylen Brown is crunch time. They were down by 12. Jaylen Brown took the ball and went to work. He had the eye of the tiger. He didn't waver. He doesn't give a shit about the Warriors. He doesn't care about their dynasty. Tatum didn't have it. He took the ball. He won him the game. Yeah, Horford hit threes. Derek White hit threes. Peyton Pritchard hit threes. But Jaylen Brown won him that game because when they were down 12, he didn't give one shit. He took the ball and he put the team on his back. Once he started driving to the lane and doing what he needed to do, then the team realized, like, okay, we can do it. Jaylen Brown won him that game. For every single video that I make for the remaining games of these finals, I will always remind you that Jaylen Brown is not a 2, he is a 1. Jason Tatum right now, if Jason Tatum rolled up out of bed one morning and walked into his bathroom and looked himself in the mirror and told himself that he's going to be the greatest player in the world, then he will be the greatest player. He will be better than Giannis. If he chooses to be better than Giannis, he will be better than Giannis because he has a better God-given talent. He's a better overall player, perimeter, you know, inside, defense, length, height, youth. Could score from every angle. Could score going left. Could score going right. Could score facing the basket. Could score back to the basket. Now you can see when he's not hitting the shots, you get his players involved. Overall talent. All he needs to do is realize in his head who he is, and once he puts it in his head that he's the greatest, no one's going to be able to stop him. Giannis is limited because he doesn't have an outside game like that. Giannis is still the best player in the world. He's dominant. Giannis is equivalent to 98 Shaq, 99 Shaq, 2000 Shaq, 2001 Shaq. That's what he's equivalent to right now. Just dominant and unstoppable. But when we talk about a player that has no flaw, that can do everything, Jason Tatum, when he decides that he wants to be the greatest, he will be the greatest, and there'll be nothing no one in the NBA can do about that. Don't listen to what these analysts are saying. They'll blow smoke up your ass till you turn purple. Stephen A. Smith, listen, I like the guy. He's cool. I don't have nothing personally. I don't know these people, but I'm telling you, when they start talking basketball, they just start screaming shit just so they can have some controversy. They're saying absolutely nothing. They somehow still think Klay Thompson is good. I've been telling you now for a month now. Klay is washed. Klay has a good game once every 4 or 5 games. What happened in game 1? What happened in game 1? Let me show you. Let me show you what happened in game 1. 39 minutes, 23 fantasy points. Let me say it again. Klay Thompson, 39 minutes, 23 fantasy points. That's washed. Klay Thompson is washed. Klay Thompson can hit an open 3 most of the time. Sometimes he's not even hitting those. He can't even get past the defender. Klay Thompson can't even get to the rim. They're supposed to beat Boston. What was Jordan Poole doing? Don't let the media fool you into thinking that the Warriors are the Warriors of the late. They can get hot from 3. That's the only chance they have. Kyrie was never clutch. Kyrie was never a crunch time player. Kyrie was never a crunch time player. Always remember, they needed Kyrie to get hurt and Kevin Love to get hurt for them to squeak by Cleveland in 2015. What happened when Kyrie and Love was there? They lost. They lost to the Cavs. They couldn't beat the Cavs. Then they went and got Durant. Then they won 2 championships. Durant was Finals MVP. Where has Curry been a Finals MVP? Where has Curry come up in crunch time? That's a question we'll never have the answer to. Do not let these fools fool you. Okay, they're just yelling loud to get you to watch their shows. I promise you that. They're not making any type of sense. I said Celtics in 7. I gotta change it. Celtics in 6. I'm not saying Warriors can't get a game or 2. And you know what? Steve Kerr is overrated. Steve Kerr is overrated because he saw his team walking down the belly of the beast, and they couldn't do anything to stop it, and he couldn't even encourage them. I seen Marcus Smart encourage his team more than Steve Kerr. That's the difference. If these teams were similar, the difference is going to be Coach Udoka and Marcus Smart. getting in these guys' asses when they're not doing what they need to do. Down 12 to the Warriors. I think more than that, maybe. And still spanked them on their home court. With that being said, Kyrie's in play. Kyrie is always in play, of course. He's gonna get his fantasy points in the first 3 quarters. You know, maybe the first 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. He's gonna get his fantasy points. I'm not saying he's not. Get his fantasy points. 56, 40, 40, 56. Listen, Kyrie's essential in these lineups. But don't let the media sway you into something that's not happening. Tatum is essential also. Tatum is essential also. 50, 51, 56, and is one of the worst games of his life. 40 fantasy points. 3 for 17. Still has 40 fantasy points. What does that tell you? If he hit his shots, what would he have? 80? 75? Tatum's the truth. Tatum's the best overall player in this finals. Jaylen Brown. These 3 guys. You gotta rotate in all your lineups. Kyrie, Tatum, Brown. You must rotate. This is one tier. Kyrie, Tatum are 1s, 1As. I'll give Brown a 1B just to give it to him, but he's not a 2. Jaylen Brown is essential. Make sure you have Kyrie and Tatum, Tatum and Brown, Brown and Kyrie, Brown and Tatum, Tatum and Brown. However you want to get it, make sure you have 2 out of 3 in your lineups. Marcus Smart is a great real life basketball player, and he's a very good fantasy player. You got to think in your head what kind of game you think is it going to be. Is it going to be a defensive game? Is it going to be a shootout? Does Marcus Smart play a big role? If you think he plays a big role, play him, but it's 12K. You got to make decisions. I like Horford, not for hitting open threes, but for his defense. And I know he's going to play a lot of minutes. If you play a lot of minutes, you have a lot of opportunities to get fantasy points. Klay Thompson will either win you money or he will help you lose money. Klay Thompson has been in his own head for a while because he knows he's not right. If you look at him, I've been watching basketball for a long time. Klay Thompson is in his head. You know, Tatum's in his head also. Tatum's in his own head also, but not like how Klay Thompson is. You know, Tatum's in his head about, you know, what type of star, is he, is himself. That's what Tatum's dilemma is. Klay Thompson's dilemma is he's still good. He's good for, an above average player, but Andrew Wiggins is more vital to Klay Thompson right now than Klay Thompson. What is Klay Thompson? Andrew Wiggins. Last 5 games, 34, 47, 21, 36, and 34. Klay Thompson. 28, 33, 19, 44, and 23. 2 good games, 3 bad games. Andrew Wiggins is more vital to the Warriors. He plays way better defense, and he's a 2-way player. And he's explosive. Klay Thompson is not explosive. Klay Thompson is not a good defensive player. He's no longer a 2-way player. He can't even create his own shot. Klay Thompson is essentially useless. Klay Thompson is essentially useless. You know who else is useless? Draymond Green. Draymond Green is useless. He's a good real life basketball player. He's a motivator. He's washed. Last 5 games, 19, 28, 30, 39, and 27. What's that going to do for us? What's that going to do? Well, you're playing 35, 36, 38 minutes. You're giving us 19, 28, 27 fantasy points. What's that going to do for us? He's washed also. Don't let the media fool you into thinking the Warriors are old, because they're not. They're selling you this they're selling you these narratives that aren't true. Because if you watch the game with your eyes open, you can see that it's not true. Wiggins is more essential to the Warriors than Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. Kevin Looney is more essential to the Warriors than Draymond Green. Kyrie, Tatum, Brown, first tier. Smart, Horford, Wiggins, next tier. Looney is in the next tier, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck Robert Williams was doing. I really don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was playing basketball in the finals or he was on the episode of Lost searching for things. Because he was confused and he had people running all over the place. Running around him, running behind him, running through him. Kyrie. I think Robert Williams get less minutes. If you watch the game, Robert a few moments, but 24 minutes, 24 fantasy points. 27 fantasy points, 26 fantasy points, 18 fantasy points, 6 fantasy points, and in the last game, 24 fantasy points. Robert Williams been useless in the last, few series, and he's hurt. They only want to play him 20 minutes a game. What's that gonna? How does that help us? Anything, anything you hear, anything you see, when it comes to these games, you need to convert it into how does it help you with DFS. Don't listen. Don't let these people sway you. Robert Williams is not good. Robert Williams is hurt, and he might have a block or two. Look, last 3 games, 1 rebound, 3 rebounds, 6 rebounds. He's not good. He's not good. Jordan Poole, there's another dude also with loss with Robert Williams. What was he doing? 25 minutes, 13 fantasy points. And he's a defensive liability. You remember what I've been telling you all year? If you've been watching my basketball videos? The Boston Celtics are the best team. I told y'all in February, the Boston Celtics are the best team in the league because they start 5 two-way players. Now Robert Williams is hurt, so he's useless. But essentially, now they turned Derek White into a two-way player. Well, he didn't turn him, but now he's playing better. So now they're swapping Derek White. You can't. They're hunting Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is useless. Klay Thompson useless. Jordan Poole useless. Draymond Green useless. What are we talking about? Derek White. Derek White is more central. Derek White is more central than Jordan Poole, Bobby Williams, Draymond Green, and now Klay Thompson. Derek White is important to any way you can. 39, 27, 43, 14, and 28 fantasy points for the 6 man off the bench. That's the bench player playing in most of the starters. Well, most of the Warriors starters. Pay attention. Here we go. Otto Porter. Otto Porter played well when he was on the court. But you heard the key word? When he was on the court. 24 minutes, 22 fantasy points. Damn near a 1 fantasy point per minute player, right? 24 minutes, right? Follow me. Follow me. But you know what Steve Kerr had to do? He had to put in his son, Andre Iguodala. 12 minutes, 11 fantasy points, but that's not the point. Otto Porter stretches the floor, give you a better spacing. Iggy's not a shooter like that. What kind of you think Iguodala's a defensive stopper? He's like 35 years old, so he's stopping Brown or he's stopping Tatum. Who exactly Andre Iguodala supposed to be stopping? Listen, they need to cut the shit. To have Iguodala sit on the bench where he belongs. Let him pass out the towels. Let him pour out the Gatorade. pass it to Otto Porter. But if the Warriors think they have any chance of beating Boston, they need to play Otto Porter a bit more. And listen, you got Tatum, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard running through you, and you got Kuminga sitting on the bench, keeping the seats warm. Kuminga's over a 1 fantasy point per minute player. You've seen him all year long. Play 15 minutes, get you 20 fantasy points. Play 10 minutes, get you 16 fantasy points. Why don't you try him? Why don't you see if his young, fresh legs could do some things defensively off? But Steve Kerr's not a good coach. I hate to say it. I hate to be honest with you. Steve Kerr's not a good coach. My neighbors could have coached the Warriors to 3 finals, to three rings. Anybody could coach. Anybody could coach Kyrie, Klay, Draymond, and Kevin Durant in their primes to win rings. Steve Kerr's overrated and he's not bright. Steve Kerr lost in that game 1. Sitting on the bench. These guys coming out. These guys coming out with swords and shields, and you coming out with slingshots. That's why you lost. Sitting on the bench with a stupid look on your face, playing Andre Iguodala. The Boston Celtics got next. They the new dynasty. You watching it? I'm watching it on TV. Steve Kerr, you on the bench? You sitting right there watching it. You watching Jaylen Brown walk you down, and you're telling your boys that it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's over. Jesus Christ, Steve Kerr's he's not a good manager. He's not. I'm pissed. Gary Payton's not going to do anything. He could have played Bielitsa. They don't ever play Bielitsa. They play Bielitsa once every 5 games. Bielitsa is over a 1 fantasy point per minute player also. You want to play Iguodala. Yeah, all right. Iguodala. You're going to get swept. You keep playing Iguodala, they'll get swept. You think Tatum's going to shoot 3 for 17 game 2? Oh, okay. Grant Williams is fine, but Derek White's been playing so well, he's taking a few of his minutes. But Grant Williams will have a game where he hits 5 threes. We all know it. Peyton Pritchard, he comes off the bench. He embraces his role. He gives not one fuck about the Warriors, and he comes out and he plays like it. If you need Pritchard last man in, he's fine. I wouldn't go below Pritchard. But Pritchard is in play. Kyrie, Tatum, Brown, first tier. Horford and Smart, second tier. Wiggins, Looney, Derek White, next tier. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Bobby Williams, Otto Porter, tier after that. Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard in the last tier. You play anybody other than that, by the time the game tips off, you've already lost. We're going to jump to FanDuel. If you're new here, sorry for my ranting and raving, but sometimes things piss me off. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Subscribe, hit the bell, thumbs up, so that you know when I drop these videos. YouTube has a little issue with delaying the notification, so I know that. So you're probably going to get the notifications late, but it's still better to have the notification than to not have it. But you guys already do that, so you know the deal. If you need any type, if you need 4 lineups, it's a showdown. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with six slots on DraftKings. It's 5 slots on FanDuel. If I put my lineups out on YouTube, the same lineup. So I'm not putting my lineups out. If you want my lineup, check out the Patreon, links in the description. You get NBA Finals, MLB, main and early slate depending on what tier you take. MMA, which starts in a few minutes. NASCAR, which is tomorrow. And if you play golf, I got you on golf too. But you know, that's if you need it. Most of you guys are sharp, you don't need it, but there's people that don't have time, So most of my Patreons, they don't have time. So, you know, I build the lineups. They make dummy lineups 15 minutes before a lot. After starting a lineup, I send it to them. 1, 2, 3, piece of cake. But let's get into FanDuel. Prices here, as well as the prices on DraftKings, are pretty much where they should be. That's why I don't really mention them. The price, there's nothing really crazy about the prices. Tatum, Curry, Brown, Horford, Smart, Wiggins looks good. Looney, they're gonna need Looney. You got to get Derek White in some of your lineups. Porter for value. Peyton Pritchard. If you're playing 10 lineups, you can play Peyton Pritchard in one for value. Peyton Pritchard's your value. Porter's your value. I'd play Derek White over Grant Williams. If you have a lineup, a fire lineup, 4 players, and you don't have the extra 500 for Derek White, shit, you might as well go to Porter. But knowing Steve Kerr, there's going to be a game where he doesn't play him and he plays Bielitsa. So if you want to be safe, play Grant Williams. If you want to live life on the edge, play Porter. But Steve Kerr, one of these games, Kerr will not play Porter because that's just the type of goofball Steve Kerr is. All Porter will get hurt because Porter has never played 3 games slate in his career. Other than that, I think that, like I said, the prices are correct, and you got to find a way to get Tatum Curry, Curry Brown, Brown Tatum, Curry Tatum, 2 out of those 3 in one lineup. Find a way. I don't care how you do it. You got to find a way. Because those 3 are on a different tier. Klay Thompson is washed. He's gonna have one good game out these finals. Just pick the right one. Could be game 2 after the loss. We don't know. But he's washed. He can't play defense. He can't get by anybody. If you can't get by anybody, you can't play your defensive liability. What does that mean? If Jaylen Brown decides to torch Klay Thompson, they're gonna have to get him out the game. If you play great defense on Jaylen Brown, he's still gonna torch you. So what is he gonna do to Klay Thompson? Kyrie, Brown, Tatum, Kyrie, Brown, first tier. Horford, Smart, Wiggins, next tier. Looney, White, next tier. Draymond, Klay, Poole, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Peyton Pritchard. I can't make it any more clear for you than that. I think that's about it. I think we covered everything. I think that's it. So look, thank you for watching. Hope this helps you build your winning lineups. And I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.